What's up, everybody? It's your man right here, the one, the only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster, one of the original road warlords. And as always, bringing you the knowledge and dropping the science in this industry of what we call trucking, okay? Doing this particular video to address some of the questions that I've been getting about purchasing a truck and which will be the best way to go. Buying a truck straight out or just getting the truck financed. And so when I say, what's wrong? I say, well, give me the reason why you would want to not finance you a truck. And so they say, well, I don't want to deal with the headaches of making payments. And so with that, I say that's not a good enough reason for me and stuff to say, well, that shouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't go and apply on, getting a truck and stuff, through a bank. Because, payments are just a part of business. It's just a part of business and stuff because, the reality is that, when you're starting out a business, there's not too many of us and stuff that had a legacy that was left for us, right? So we're starting out with very little capital. To ascertain business. And so this is the very thing and stuff that's needed and necessary stuff in order for you to build a business, maintain a business, and to create a legacy, is that you have to have capital. Credit doesn't get you anything. Credit doesn't get you nothing but in debt. Credit is just a representation of how much debt that you can get. You can put yourself in and stuff, and then you got you have to pay all this back. Capital, on the other hand, keeps you out of debt. Capital is something that you need. So, if you borrow against yourself, right, then, you can set whatever interest stuff, if you want to charge interest at all, to pay yourself back. You have everything that's needed to take care of whatever that's needed and to move on to the next step. So, I always emphasize the importance of capital. Now, if you have to go in that sort of debt, right? If you have to go in that sort of debt, then we get misconstrued about our debt. And so you see, a lot of us are in debt based upon things that aren't going to be building any kind of capital. It's just, we get cars, mostly cars and stuff like that. Then we finance some of the other things and stuff. Whether it be furniture or to get, we got Christmas and stuff coming up. So, some people sit there and apply for loans and stuff, to get things for Christmas, for the holidays and stuff like that, or to pay bills or whatnot. But, again, it's not a representation of us building capital. And so, when we look at that and we think that we're going in that type of debt, then, a truck is looked at just like everything else. Oh, well, this is just something that, I got to pay, but it's not going to bring in any kind of capital, which I say that it's not true. That's really why a lot of people don't take these venues into creating business for themselves, because they're so fixated on the fact that, by putting themselves in debt, that, that's what it is and stuff, and I got to work to pay this debt off and stuff, but it's not bringing me any kind of capital. So, if you're going to finance something, that's something that you can finance and stuff, a truck, I'll give an example. My first truck that I financed through the bank was a 2005 Volvo 780, right? Now, they were charging me 20% interest. They were charging me 20% interest on the fact that I didn't have good credit or bad credit. I just had no credit, which means that, everything that I purchased, I didn't have a credit history. So it was really nothing to go by. But they sat there, I gave them the down payment, and my truck was at 20% interest. Now, the truck was for 2.5 years. And stuff, but my payments were only $1,067. $1,067 a month. Now, this is from me being in a lease truck, right? Being in a lease truck where I was paying $535 a week. $535 a week and stuff. And so, I went from paying that every week and stuff to only paying $1,067 a month, right? So, the lease has its benefits and stuff if you know how to use it accordingly. which at the time and stuff, I had a very lax way of taking care of that right there and stuff, which I could have went on ahead and took care of a lot sooner had I kept that same lease purchase mentality when it came towards the truck. Anyway, so again, 20% interest on this truck here and stuff, and I was only for a 2005 Volvo 780 that I think it just had 600,000 on it, with the option of getting the extended warranty, stuff, which would have basically covered everything on the truck, And like I said, I followed the truck all the way up the term. The only major thing that I had to do to that truck was put a clutch in it. That was it. Otherwise, it never broke down. It never put me down on the side of the road or whatever, other than that clutch going out. The truck only got towed one time since I had it. And stuff. And so, that was the major breakdown that I had from the time I was financing the truck. So, financing the truck and stuff is really it's not as bad as what people project and stuff. The issue is finding a carrier, right? Finding a carrier that can really stand up to what they say and stuff. They stand behind their word and stuff, and you're not really being tricked or swindled into some kind of contract and stuff. You have a basic understanding. You know what you're trying to do and stuff, and then the people there are working with you. That's the biggest problem as to why a lot of people and stuff fail out here in the industry. That have nothing to do with the truck or the type of truck that you buy. It's usually the carrier that you go to and stuff. Is that, if you're not really on the par on that side of business, then that's what makes things difficult, because every week, you're not having a consistent settlement, or you're not having a settlement at all and stuff, because deductions are beating you in the head. You're not turning stuff in enough time and stuff for you to ascertain capital. So, that is the biggest issue and stuff in the trucking realm, is the type of people that you go to work for and stuff, whether it be for yourself or whether you lease on and stuff. So, the truck is really not the problem. So, if you decide to say, I want to go out here and buy a truck, I seen one for $15,000 or $10,000 and stuff like that, then, why don't I just get that truck right there, put it to work, and then, I'm not going to run it very far and stuff like that. And that's just not it. Okay. Trucks lose value just like cars. And stuff. And so, the thing is that if you're purchasing a truck and it's at that amount and stuff, and, it's a good buy, but, the truck that you purchase, it still has to do the same thing like a truck that's newer. And if everything is working properly in the truck, then it'll be able to tote that note. Because remember, you get in that truck, you're still going to be hooking up the 45,000 pound loads and stuff. It doesn't matter whether you're taking it 10 miles or 1,000 miles. The truck still has to operate and do that job and stuff. It still has to tote that note. Now, if you go that route and stuff of buying the truck cash, right, then you got to really know what's going on with the truck and stuff. And so, a lot of people look at they'll probably look at some YouTubers and stuff and say, well, hey, this guy did it. But, they're not looking at the complete aspect of what this guy had to do. This person has networking, which means that they had a mentor. They had somebody that was there that went with them, that is probably doing the same thing and stuff, and probably did it a whole lot longer. Like, well, you know what? Hey, I've been doing this for X amount of years and stuff like that. And so, this is the route that I take. But when I go and look for a truck, this is what I'm looking at right here and stuff. And so, the person comes up with that networking and saying, okay, hey, listen, man, I'm thinking about buying this truck right here. Okay, well, let me turn you on to some people and stuff, because I bought trucks from them before and stuff. They sell at a real decent price, and we'll go out there together. I'll tell you what to look for, so on and so forth. And then, when you got that, when you got that sense of mentorship, then, you already know what to expect and stuff like that. You already know what kind of money you need to have behind purchasing this truck and stuff. They can tell you about any kind of inconsistencies and stuff that you might be hearing. problems you might be facing, so on and so forth and stuff. Just giving you that knowledge, so see that you yourself, once time and stuff permits itself, you can mentor and pass that knowledge on to other people. So, just buying a truck and stuff, for 10, 15,000 and say, okay, well, the truck is older, right? Yeah, truck is older. Just like it's a truck I'm thinking about purchasing, for myself. I like international stuff, particularly the 9900. The one I want is a 2001. When they first changed up the International Eagle, the 9900, and they changed that style up and stuff, I like that particular style truck, and you can get those trucks for a fairly decent price. But the thing is that I also know is that they don't hold very much value, but at the same time, if I purchase a truck, what am I looking at, right? Because you can get a truck and the interior can be beat all to heck and stuff, but what is that motor, that transmission, those rear ends and stuff, what is it doing? Is it going to hold up? Is it going to tote that? No. That's the thing that you're looking at and stuff, and saying, well, okay, I might buy this truck for, they might be selling the truck for 10 grand and stuff, but then he might be saying, well, hey, listen, I'm selling for $10,000, but the truck needs a head gasket. So, in hindsight, it sounds pretty simple. Okay, all right, just go ahead and put a new head gasket on. I'm free to go. I'm good to go. But see, it goes a little bit more deeper than that. If he blow the head gasket, then what else did he mess up? Because once coolant gets inside the block, when that coolant get into places it's not supposed to be and stuff, what kind of damage did it do? Because now it's not as simple as sitting there and just change the head gasket. You might take off the head and see that the head is cracked, right? Because the head gasket blowed. Now you got a cracked head. So now, this job right here and stuff is turning more into an end frame now, because you see that the head is cracked, and then you look inside the block and you see inside the pistons. One of the pistons and stuff might have melted. One of the pistons might have melted and stuff, and then it might destroy the sleeve. So now you got to get a new piston, you got to get a new sleeve. Since you already got the motor and stuff tore down, so you already know, okay, all right, the head's cracked, so I'm going to need a new head, which means I'm going to get a new head gasket. But since I open up the block and stuff, I see that the sleeve and stuff is damaged, so I'm going to go ahead and get some new sleeves, get some new pistons, drop the main bearings and stuff like that. The mains and bearings and stuff, put new oil pumps, since I already got the whole motor and stuff tore down, right? And so, if the right person does it, then, again, a head gasket might cost you, replace a head gasket and stuff, it might cost maybe $5,000. But see, they told you he blow the head gasket and stuff again, you discover that the head and stuff is cracked. So now you need a whole end frame and stuff, everything that I just mentioned. So now you don't went from a $5,000 job to maybe a $25,000 job, right? Depends on who do the work. But again, if you know where to go and what parts and stuff to replace and so on and so forth, then you can still keep that stuff down and say, well, okay, he blowed the head gasket and stuff like that, but since I got to tear the motor down and replace the head gasket, let me see what's going on and stuff. And worst case scenario, I'll go ahead and do an end frame. So I'll do the end frame. I'll go ahead and get the end frame kit. Since I got the motor and stuff tore down, this person gonna sit there and do it. And I put the truck back together. So I got $10,000 in the truck, and then I probably have another $10,000 in the end frame. So I got $20,000 into the truck. But I know once it's put together and stuff, right, I practically got a new motor. And stuff. And so, a truck, again, $10,000, you got another $10,000 into it and stuff. And so you're saying, well, now let me go out here and make this money back. So, again, you bought the truck. You might say, well, you was expected to, you probably had maybe $25,000, $30,000 in capital, right? So now you got a $10,000 reserve. Now you got a $10,000 reserve and stuff in case something breaks down and stuff again. But you already got the block and stuff put back together. You already got it put back together and stuff. So you can't expect it, to go but so bad, especially if it's put back together, which is kind of hard to mess up an end frame, unless a person is just completely negligent and stuff. But like I said, things can and do happen, but in most cases they don't. And so now you done sat there and made your money back and stuff, and So you put that capital back and stuff. You saying, well, all right, I'm profitable now and stuff. You know, I'm very pleased with my equipment. You know, it's doing the job it's supposed to do. It's toting the note and stuff. But, you know, again, that's if you like this particular style truck and stuff. You know, guys, older trucks and stuff tend not to be as popular or whatever. You know, some people go for the Freightliner Century classes and stuff like that, you know, and, you know, they don't really put a lot of effort into the upkeep of the truck and stuff. They're just saying, well, you know, I'm just going to run it, and then, you know, once I get the money and stuff like that. But then some people will sit there and put money into a particular truck. They say, well, you know, hey, I like my Century class, or I like my 9900 or my Freightliner Classic, or, you know, my W900, my Peterbilt 379, those sort of things there and stuff. So, you know, I mean, just getting a truck and stuff to try to cop out on not trying to make payments, okay. But, you know, just understand is that, you know, at the end of the day, you're really not escaping nothing. You know, the same obligation and stuff is put on every single truck. Doesn't matter whether you get this one and stuff for 10 grand or you're financing the truck and stuff for 100 grand, you know. Can you get that truck? Can it tote that note and stuff? And so, you know, and it's really no cheap way out of stuff either. So, you know, it's saying, well, I'm gonna go over here and just do local work and stuff. You got to make sure that that work that you're doing locally is enough to where the money is coming in consistently. But, you know, that's another that's just a whole completely different science and stuff. And so what I'm saying, you know, is that when getting the truck is that you're really not removing yourself from the obligation or whatever. Just know what is it that you're getting and stuff, and that, you know, regardless of whether you get the truck financed or whether you buy the truck straight out, is it going to be able to tote that note at the end of the day and stuff? Is that, well, you know, as far as the inside is concerned, you know, you buy a truck and stuff for 10 grand, you know, and the interior might not be as immaculate as a truck that you buy for, say, 30 or 40 grand, you know, and you decide to get that finance, you know. You still got to look at the overall and stuff and make sure that the truck is doing and operating in the way to where it's going to do the job and stuff. It's going to tote that note. So, you know, you really don't escape nothing at the end of the day and stuff, man. You know, the obligation is still the same. It's just having a better understanding as to what you're trying to do overall and stuff is going to make the determining factor as to what kind of equipment and stuff that you want to purchase. And so with that being said, it's your man right here, the one and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster, telling you as always, continue to do your research, fact finding studies, honest on your skills every day. Until next time we talk, next time we meet, be safe, be easy, and peace out.